Okay, guys, I'm back, and today we're going to talk Crackdown, particularly the series. I'm going to dive in and do what I like to do as a compare and contrast between Crackdown 1 and Crackdown 3. And I'm going to turn on the light here real quick. You're going to see I have 360 there and the Xbox One there. So, why did I choose to do that? Well, I have two monitors in front of me. I'll turn on the light just for the sake of you being able to see for the moment. Both these TV panels are 1080p at 60 hertz. They're both Hitachi, and they're both the same exact model of TV. Both TVs also have the same exact settings on each TV, meaning contrast, sharpness, color, saturation, bright levels, even the backlights. So there will be no indiscrepancies or what we would call, oh, you cheated, or maybe you put one way and one the other. And to prove that, I'm just going to go to the menu, like so, and I'm going to put up the settings there. I'm going to go to the menu here and put up the settings on there, what they look like, and I'm going to put the settings on there. As you can see, they're all the same. Contrast is 100, brightness is 50, sharpness is 70, tint, which is the saturation and the colors of the how it highlights the reds or the blues or the greens, are +5, and the colors itself are both on 100 on both TVs. So, in case you guys trying to say I'm full of shit. Now, the main reason for me to do this is because a lot of people are trying to say that never even played the game, and even some played it that probably haven't gone back and revisited the old one and don't remember, trying to say that the Crackdown 1 on this side looks exactly like Crackdown 2. And now, as you can see here, right off the jump, you have the CG cutscene with the 3D polygons on the Xbox One version here, and then we have some kind of FMV of gameplay on the 360 here on your left. Now, I picked the 360 because that was the first initial intended version of Crackdown 3, or 1 rather. That's how it was intended to be played, with the 360 where it was designed for. So this is the actual version. This is not the 4K upgrade version to the Xbox One, which I could have done, but because I don't want to put the 4K monitors because they're too big and high by side, we're going to do it where we use the 1080p monitors to be fair to the 360 version, because it is 720p, which is upscaling 1080p. And then, as you guys know, Crackdown 3 came out for Xbox One, so I put it, and I'm running it on the Xbox One X to run it the best possible way to display how the game looks with the 16 MSAA, and obviously the better loading and things of that nature, to be part of this compare and contrast. So, the first thing we're going to talk about, and I'm going to do is, I'm going to basically press start here on the 360 version, as you can see here. It's going to ask me to sign in or whatnot, and you'll see as I start the game, go to campaign, fine, pick campaign, play solo, yes. You have the loading screen, and what I'll do is I'll press start on the Xbox One version, the solo campaign, and you can see that it has a slot of Mr. Cruz there. Second slot, first slot. That's my first playthrough, so I'm basically gonna start with the second slot because it's the second. It's a playthrough I created. Just for the purposes of the game, starting all over, like more in the beginning sections of the game. And here's the 361, and it shows you in the map the different sections and districts of where I am. So I'm going to press play here. I'm in the keep, which is basically kind of the beginning. This is your loadout from here. So I'll leave it like that, basic. So the first thing that you're going to notice between the 360 version and the Xbox version, obviously, is I'll lower this over here on the Xbox One version.
You can fast travel between them.
Is the immediate differences in visual quality. Even though they both have a cel-shaded look and style, you're going to notice, and what I'll do is I'll kind of bring the camera in a little bit so you can see as it adjusts, and I'll show you a little closer. As you can see here, on the 360 version, it has a very I'm gonna zoom it in a little bit so you can see it has a very flat look to it and very jaggy, although it has really nice vibrancy to it. It has nice colors. Play it. This is where you start off in the 360 version every time, which is basically on your garage where your cars are.
For no one, Agent. Not even you.
So you'll see the animation is really unique on both. Although the one on the 360, as you can see, it moves kind of fairly really fast. Let me see if I can turn on the light. It moves really fast. It gets in the car. This is how you get out and you go into the city. But you'll notice how I'm going to pause the Xbox version real quick. Sound effects of the car sound good, but a lot of the textures in the game look really flat because obviously it's running based off the limitations of the Xbox 360. You see immediately you start getting a barrage of enemies attacking.
Shoot a moving target's legs or wheels to undermine its mobility.
So you see there. It has a more jagged look to it. The backgrounds in the game, as you can see, they look soft, but they look also like they have a lot of. Right here, they look really good, as you can see. But if you look in the other side where the bridges are, you see that it has a lot of mist that covers, the discrepancies, obviously, because it's very far, the draw distance. But again, this is normal for the standard of the 360. It looks really good and it works. Now, the sound effects on the game, especially in the 360 version, there's not a lot of like music to the game. It has music, but it's like ambient on certain sections. But the soundtrack is not as high-tech techno like the new one in Crackdown 3. Still looks really good. It has really nice lighting and shading, but again, based off the standard of the 360. You can move around and jump, but you feel the stiffness in the controller. It's not as fluid. It doesn't feel stiff, like hard to move, just kind of like in the analog. It's not as agile in the analog, if you will, but it is pretty good as far as the gameplay mechanics. It's not shabby. It's just not as, I guess, smooth as the way it feels in Crackdown 3. You see how he's running up
For your
here,
convenience, gang members are shown on your
and
tracker in 3 states.
the textures are
Gray
really,
patrolling,
to
yellow
the
are
standard of
actively
360,
seeking
of
you
course.
out, and red are engaged in combat.
The sound effects, the way he moves, the city looks really nice. It has a day and night cycle as well, but it's not as pronounced and believable, I guess, as in Crackdown 3, because the lighting effects are a lot more modernized, obviously, and high tech. This is the people look really nice. Like there's a lot of NPCs, but the difference between the original and the new one, in the new one, Crackdown 3, what they did was the people are now living underneath like the bridges and next to toxic wasteland.
The most
Those
effective
people are the
means of
poor people,
neutralizing a vehicular target
and
in anything in its immediate
they're
vicinity
basically
is to
Terra
shoot
Nova
its
has that whole section and that island controlled. And the rich people all live above the hit city skylines in the higher areas and higher in the big skyscrapers. They have nicer cars. They're dressed nicer, as opposed to the people under the bridges and the little shack houses. They all look like they have like backpacks, tethered clothes. They look like they're basically a bum in the street. That you would see. And I don't mean to say it being mean, obviously, but that's the best way for me to describe it. So the NPCs in Crackdown 1 are kind of there right from the jump. But as you can see here, you can shoot right away and hit. But there has a lot of the look of it comes from the crushed blacks that sell it to make it look really nice as far as the quality between the colors and the neon lights that is supposed to be showing
nothing like a good
that is supposed to be displaying. He just died. He got burnt to death. So there's the symbol. The loading's pretty decent, as you see. It goes in. Doesn't take too long.
technology makes
But that's why you can see a lot of NPCs right from the beginning on Crackdown 1. Because the people who are just living in the city is not being controlled by anybody. It's just certain areas. Like as you see there where it has the highlights of it. But the colors look really good and it holds up. It holds up well. But again, as you can see, it has a lot of jaggies. The lighting's really good, but it looks still nice based on the 360 standard. But it has more of, like I said, a cel-shaded look, as opposed to a more photorealistic look like in Crackdown 3, which I will try to display in a bit. Also, the guns sound good, but they don't sound as realistic as in the new Crackdown 3. You can see there, try to do an explosion, shoot up a car, and when you do that with the bad guys, you see the explosion, how it is. Looks nice, but again, not as realistic or as bombastic and exaggerated as you would in the new Crackdown 3. Obviously, it's a game that the more you level up, the more agility powers you get. You're able to do more things like pick up cars, jump higher, strafe in the middle of the air. I don't know if this one has a jetpack. I don't think it does. But in Crackdown 3, that's something that you do have and you get as a new feature, which is really good and it's really effective and helps, which makes the traversal a lot more exciting and in depth. It has a more deeper level of platforming on it. So again, you see the textures; they look really nice on the grass and on the gravel pathway, but they look jaggy again. But still with the cel shaded look. Trying to make sure I keep it, focus for you here. There's a lot of dark. Looks very black because of the crushed blacks that the display on the 360. I don't know if it was to hide some discrepancies. I don't think so, but I think it was just to give it a more dynamic contrast look on their games, which I think was effective and made a lot of their games look better than most games on other platforms like the PS3. Loads of fun, still moves pretty quick. Like I said, the movement is not as loose as it feels on the new Crackdown. Right now he's trying to fight one of the bosses. As you see with the bosses here in the game. Let's just zoom this out a little bit. There you go. He's trying to get to him now. The bosses also in Crackdown 1, they're kind of simplified. You know, you get to them, you play them, you kind of try to survive. They don't really have a pattern. They don't really feel epic or big in scale. And in Crackdown 3, I think only the first two bosses feel like that. But after that, the rest of the bosses are actually a lot bigger in scale. As you see there, he got killed. So let's take a pause after he loads back up, and then we'll go and we'll start to take a little bit more in-depth look at the Crackdown 3. So I'm going to turn the camera this way, as you see here. Lift it up a little bit. Make sure that it's zoomed out, zoomed in. Alright. So now, you will immediately, right off the back, once he unpauses the game, you're going to immediately see that there's a photorealistic look in the character models. They look really, really high quality and detailed. You can see the lighting casting right in front of him, and you can see how everything bounces off of his face, his body, his suit. And look at the lighting of the neon pyrotechnics on the buildings right above. So this is also nighttime. It's a lot more vivid and lively the way it feels once you get to the city. See the buildings up there, and they're all luminescent. So let's get going and move around and get into the actual city itself, because I think he's in
Agility orbs, Agent. Go get
so
it.
as you see, he has the backpack there. You go in the water, you can actually swim, and you can see automatic. That draw distance is a lot more believable. It has the more, you get all the pyrotechnics going on in the background, and you see the mist of the water right there in the back as he's swimming. I don't know if I picked the right slave slot because it kind of confused me. I wasn't reading it right, but he's trying to get to land right now, as you see there. And the camera does zoom in and does zoom out. Check your map and see if you have any objectives to do. But this is the one that has everything done. Alright, so exit out and load up the one that doesn't have the newer one that I started. Because I already did most of the stuff on this one, so it's not going to really give you more of a grasp the difference between looking alive at the whole time. There you go. The other thing is that the sound effects immediately when you go into Crackdown 3 are a lot more, top of the, top quality, top of the line, however you want to say it. They sound a lot more realistic. The control and the feel of the character is a lot smoother, and it feels a lot more responsive. If the best way I can describe it, but it feels really good. Not only when you move them with the analog sticks, but when you're doing the jumping and the platforming and the traversal element of the game. Again, is that the same one? Okay, so you see how it's changing right in front of us from dusk to dawn to daytime. The people, they react just like in the original, but more realistically. The enemies are very aggressive. When you shoot the bad guys, for example, the combat is a lot more fluid. The neon lights on the game are the best I've ever seen in any game that has neon lights and effects in the city itself. Better than Sunset Overdrive, in my opinion, and better than games like Infamous. So, those colors that are very fluorescent and kind of reddish and bluish, they make the game look like they might look cel shaded, but it has a more, like I said, photorealistic look. Quality of the textures are a lot more high res. Look, the neon lights are so vibrant. You can see it on the screen. Just trying to match up. And it's very difficult because there's constantly changing of the color palette and there's constant particle effects going on.
I wondered when Roxy would come out to play.
The soundtrack in the game. This is like a cutscene within the story, which you did not really have in the other Crackdown. Property of Turtle.
The monorail network on New Providence is run by Roxy.
This is showing you the battles of the enemies that you have to take down, the main bosses.
Take forces Roxy to adjust operations nearby, putting more of their network in our sights.
So the more stations you captured, the closer
The map
we get
isn't
to
a
finding
3D,
and offlining Roxy.
component, where you could actually rotate it, scale it, and look more in depth into it, just to know what you have to do as far as your objectives a lot better. You couldn't do that with the original. The original, as you saw, the map was far away and just little dots here and there, color coordinated.
While you were taking that monorail station, I heard from the militia. They reached the refugees before Terra Nova.
Good. Then we can focus on dismantling the rest of the enemy's distribution network. But be ready, Agent.
We
They
gotta
won't
do,
make it easy.
another thing you'll see is how the lighting bounces off in real time, realistically, from, like I said, nighttime to daytime. Right now it's dusk. You see trees, very vibrant and big textures on the actual buildings. The buildings are more vivid, full, and alive, as you can see there
Light as
too.
a feather, tough as nails.
You see the particle effects, how they are. He's gonna take out that tower and liberate it up there, right on top of that building. And then after that, you see how much farther the draw distance is. And one of the things this game is very polished. You don't see no bump mapping. You don't really see screen tearing at all, ever. It loads up pretty fairly quickly. Even in the draw distance, you don't really see anything distorting as you're coming in or bump mapping as you're walking in. The soundtrack in Crackdown 3 also is one of the things where it shines big time. forcing this to always gotta constantly move, roll, stick, move, roll.
The result has been bloody, and bloody exceptional. I want more. I didn't come from nothing to wallow in little management's quest. I'm a go-getter. I want something.
Those are stations where you get more weapons.
But now more than ever, all must serve our roles. Time is near at hand. The world is changing soon. Then, and only then, will I get the recognition and power I've earned on the backs and
The music is subtle though. This is one of those stations where they have the vehicles for the bad guys that they create, and if you kind of destroy them, it eliminates them from throwing and sending more vehicles with, turn over troops to, come after you. Everything you do in Crackdown 3 reflects on not only the story but the gameplay itself, and how the world exposes itself to
According
you,
to agency intel, Liv Sorensen is a
how things start to
professional
change. You'll see more people.
for dictators,
If
rogue
you take out
states.
wineries that serve moonshine, that is basically hurting and killing the people, you see more people because now they're not sick, now they're not dying, and their population is starting to grow.
The more of her
Same thing like when you
brigade
take out the
wipe
toxic waste
the faster
chemical
Sorensen will be
factories.
isolated.
They start to
We can deliver some
eliminate
justice.
the people that are in poverty and messed up, and the monorails to take the people around back and forth. If you liberate them, you start to see more of the people as well in the world. It kind of
Now that
exposes
they know
itself
where
to
you are, Agent, they'll
the more
be
you progress
scrambling
through
more
the
hit
game.
squads to hunt you down. So watch your back and take
So
them out
what I want to
first.
show you too is how the difference in explosions, like let's explode a car and we can see. Oh boy, he got hurt because he's on fire. Destroying another. You see, look at that. Look at the difference in the explosions. And they have a domino effect. Very beautiful. A lot of
That is Monkey Moonshine's distribution center,
pyrotechnics and
shipping poison to the people. All the
special
more
effects
reason
and
it's got to go.
particle effects going on all at once. See the shadow casting from the character here, depending where you are, and the actual character that people said and claimed wasn't there.
Now, after disactivating the prisoner hardpoints,
The jetpack is one of the new
he leaves them back on the street, ready to
gadgets you
mobilize.
have that help you traverse through the world and the city. And the good thing about Crackdown 3 too,
Anything they can throw.
it basically
Nice.
shows itself more and more as you play along through the game.
We're one step closer to saving the load.
This is the monorail right here that he just liberated. You see some people there running, and they look different, and there's a lot of variations too in the actual
That full speed is fierce.
enemies that you fight.
Let her rip
There's a lot of
and
different
cut through
guns
the competition.
and weapons, and each weapon basically is more effective for certain enemy types than others. So you hear the people talking all the time, saying different things and reacting like they would in real life. It's a lot of little attention to detail, like when you get in the car, you'll notice here in the car you're driving, but if you want to stop, you'll see it on the light, it'll say stop right there, and then if you go reverse, you go in reverse. Let's see if I can show it to you. It says reverse, and the lights look like actual protruding neon lights as opposed to lights that are stuck on the chassis of the car. It has a very Tron type of look to it, if you will. Or if you guys, Get what I'm saying? See how he got out?
Just like walking on air.
So, let's see if you can go to one of the bosses. Can you go to one of the bosses right now or no? Let's see. Check on the map. Thing is that in Crackdown 3, if you have to, let's say, do a certain task, like take out all these monorails. Once you liberate all the
I
monorails,
like your style.
you free up the boss, and now you have to go fight that boss. You can do it in the order you want, obviously. But, you know, it's cool because you can do it either by yourself, obviously, with two-player co-op. And here's some people right here, for example. You liberate them. Now, they
Militia won't forget how you
start
helped them out
to
here.
form an alliance with you and help you as you play the game. But you also got to be careful, because if you shoot them, they'll turn against you and they'll hunt you down along with the Terra Nova people. So it kind of gives you that element as well. You have to be careful.
New vehicle added to your garage, Agent.
As you see,
There's the
we're in the
exchange.
water. Right.
Staging ground for localized oppression. But not if we take out the officers in charge.
There's a lot of cars all over the place, which is cool. As you see the wall,
Take charge
look,
of that nearby supply
in the
point,
water,
Agent.
and you're in the,
They'll
next
keep
to the
you in
wall.
ammo
It has
whenever
a
you're
very,
running dry.
try to zoom in. It has a realistic wall textures to it, like a real wall would. Turn around the character and try to zoom in. Go against the wall and turn the camera all the way, close all the way, and you'll see. Turn it. The camera. Keep turning, 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 and you see how it gets close to him. All the lighting, all the lighting. Turn him. You see all the details on the suit, all in real time, with digital lights, like you would in these movies, like a Tron. The gun, everything's
Got active enforcers in the vicinity.
fluorescently
Direct
lit
orders from their
in
HQ.
real time.
If we hit their units and bring enough pain, we will force their hand. And then we can cut
The
it
water
right off.
looks like real water. Has a nice, you know, wavy effect. And another thing this game has has good tessellation. When you look at something, if it's supposed to look rounded, it looks rounded.
That's another gain for us.
Like if you look at see how much easier it is to move around the traversal. Oof, jump up. If you look there on the ceiling, if you look on the ceiling and you look at the what you call the things on top, the racks, the siding on the top of the building. You see how they look rounded, and you can tell that it's round design. That's the tessellation. It has good tessellation. Go ahead, go on to the rocks over there. And this is what I meant by when I say it has a photorealistic look. See, this looks like real rock. A lot of nice textures. It looks almost wet because it's next to the water. Has
Area is the first
yellows
landing
and
spot for
greens
new hires.
to implement, you know, that it has moss
I
on
hear
it.
Nova leadership used to even call it the orientation zone. Complete with a walking
You're
tour of
going into
nearby
the city?
monorail stations, chem facilities, and of course, enforcer strongholds.
You see all
Just
these
to keep
cars
everyone
going
in line.
around? So, you know, they have a very similar look
freeze up out there.
What I'll do is now I'll move back. They have a very similar look, but if you really put them in motion at the same time, you can kind of see that one looks more comic book style, while the other looks more, cel-shaded outline, but with a photorealistic look.
Like a true gunslinger.
Oh boy, somebody died.
Damn.
As you can see. And the soundtrack in Crackdown 3 is really phenomenal. As opposed to the first game, it doesn't really have a soundtrack.
Nice moves.
See, when you come to closer to like a tree or something and Crackdown, you can't really zoom in unless you move the camera. Again, this is also nighttime.
You're taking damage.
See them side by side. You can tell that one looks significantly and drastically different than the other.
Your health is low. You might want to heal up before you take more damage.
And you can pick to shooting. Certain elements. Oh
Time for another regen.
yeah. So right on here.
Careful around electricity. There's no good to the people of this city dead. Remember that.
As you can see, there's a big difference in the quality of how they look. And have them playing in real time.
Watch your head.
You can also put nice grenades. I don't remember. Oh yeah, you can still. Oh, kill myself. So the loading also on 3 is also pretty fast as well, which it should be.
Demolition. It's
I'm trying to get my son to finish here doing this battle so that we can put it, stand them in a nice area to show it side by side. Regenerated health. That is something that I believe also existed in the first one. There's another area higher up. See the building.
After my trip through the sorting process,
Another nice thing is
remember that
inside
asshole
the
Berg tried to
windows.
tell me New
You can
Providence
see
was
inside the
ultimate
building
company
like
town.
it looks like you're
That's
walking through
putting it
glass
mildly.
and see
See all
inside
the
what's
Terranova
inside the
branding in the
apartments
world?
in like
We
a
supply,
3D-ish
operate, and
effect.
own every business on this island. All
You can
money
see the
starts and
textures on
stops with those greedy
the bricks
SOBs.
right there. Also
Capitalism,
look very
captive market.
realistic. Go up top and look over the high rise. Look at that, somewhere over there. Right there. So like turn it so you can see it. You look at it here. You
Only
can
way to
see
twist is through Roxy. Only way through Roxy is to take her apart bit by bit, station by station.
some drones.
Logistics clipper flying in.
Going to eliminate them. So, as you can see, right here.
Agent, Nova uses their monorail stations to send
Even
resources
from
from,
the zoo.
division to division. Equipment, supplies, slave labor.
You
Every
can
station
see
we take offline hurts the effort. So hit the closest one and
That's
keep hurting them.
you can see the look of that, which still looks good. I'm not saying it doesn't, but you can tell that it's shell shaded. And then we'll turn here, and you can see the look of
Look
Crackdown
sharp,
3.
Agent. You have work to do.
which looks more live, as you can see, and vibrant and photo realistic with cell shading. They do not look anywhere near shape, way, or form like each other. So I hope you guys like the type of the little the little descriptions and the little details that I try to show you and point out with Crackdown 1 and Crackdown 3. They're both very good games, respectively. But I wanted to show you in real time, side by side, where it cannot be denied, because you can see here in real time that they're both running on the same TVs. The only difference is this looks more zoomed in because it was on a save point, and this is not. This is just on a regular, standing regularly there on top of the building. I don't know. I don't know if you can turn it or not, but maybe by turning around, you can see. I think it also zooms in on the 360 as well. I'm not sure. It was a feature that probably was implemented or not, but anyway, here you go. There you go. You can see. I hope that you guys like this. I hope you guys can see the things I tried to point out from both games. I'm a little hoarse, so please, I hope you can bear with me and forgive me for sounding so, rough. But All I can say is for those who say that Crackdown 1 looks like Crackdown 3, you're pretty much lying to yourself because it's not just visuals, it's the audio, it's the soundtrack, it's the pyrotechnics, the lighting, the way that the world interacts with you, the explosions, the tessellation in the world as well, the real time day and night cycle, the way the lighting bounces off of each other and the reflection of each other, the shadow casting. It's really, really well done on Crackdown 3 and far more superior, obviously, because it's running on more modern hardware. It was built for modern day technology. It wasn't just a simple, coat of graphical upgrade like some games do. In the, come to mind that I can think of something like Shadow of Colossus. That is just a graphical upgrade, nothing else. Even gameplay mechanics, the way the game feels is more fluid. The jetpack, some more of the new accessories. Even your vehicles, when you're using them, they transform. You can use your vehicles to transform, and one of the vehicles even sticks on buildings. You can go up the building, which I wish I could display here, but you can't get it right away because you have to actually unlock it. So, you know, you're not able to do that until you get further and further, upgrading your character. So again, like I said, if you are in defense or you
The
think
more orbs you
that
collect, the better equipped you'll be to take down Terra Nova. So
people
see 'em,
are
get 'em,
actually
and kick ass, Agent.
saying the truth or about the game, I would say look at and find out and look at it for yourself, because I honestly can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that it's more of an agenda driven type deal where people just want to hate on something, just because this generation has been a fun generation for people
Nice maneuvering.
to, hate on Xbox or Xbox games, if you will. So just check it out for yourself and enjoy it, because the game's a whole lot of fun and it delivers a whole lot of what Crackdown 1 did, and even Crackdown 2 to a certain extent, obviously. So if they created Crackdown 1, a what you call it, a 98 or 83 in Metacritic, why should Crackdown 1 or 3 rather be a 62, for example? And there we go, another display of how the rocks look. Crackdown 3. Photorealistic, people, like I said. Photorealistic. Look at that. No way near to what that looks like.
You have a job
No
to
way.
do, Agent. Do it.
No way. So, like I was saying, Crackdown 3 is elevated in every single way, and delivers more and better, execution, with better gameplay as well, and the way it feels. So, there's no way for Crackdown 3 to be a 62. It's unwarranted. And if people say, oh, but it's based off the metrics of games of today, not of 10 years ago when Crackdown came out, well, what happened with Shadow of Colossus? Why Shadow of Colossus was rated the same exact way, even though Shadow of Colossus only had a graphical update. There was nothing new added. There was no new gameplay, no new gameplay mechanics, no more story, no new gadgets, nothing. It was the same exact game. It just simply was, how you say, graphically enhanced. So, I call BS, and that's something that not just I should call it out. Anyone that is a real fan of Crackdown series on Xbox. You guys should just stand up and say what you feel, because you know we're the gamers and we're not dumb. We know what the deal is, especially that we've been playing on Xbox. So we know. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed my little compare and contrast of Crackdown 1 and Crackdown 3. Just for sakes again, here you go, Crackdown 3. We'll turn here you go, Crackdown 1. Are you kidding me? Really? Okay, guys, love you very much. I hope you enjoyed this compare and contrast. Let me know what you think in the comments. Share it, like it, and thank you for your support, for all those who rock out with me. And big shout outs over there to my boy New Legal Direct Gaming. He did a nice little video also on Crackdown 3 and his thoughts. Go check him out, show him some love, because he did a good job. And it's really nice to see positive Crackdown videos. So, I call bullshit. I try to always show it in real life. You even see the flowing of the particles there with the wind, as you can see. Every little detail that people don't even like to point out. I like to show it side by side because I can do that. I have the ability to do it in real time. No Elgatos, no capture card, all in real time in my game room, just to show it to people so you can see. And if you want to call me bullshit, then you do it. You show me anything better. I know what I see here. Okay? I know what I see here. And I know what I see here. And it's basically night and day. So, take care, guys. Love you very much. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you soon on the next one. Peace. As a little added bonus, I want to show you guys here something. Look at the reflection in the puddle of water in the street. Look. As you look up, you can see it in like you would in real life if you look up at a certain angle. And it goes in. See that? Even cool little details like that. You see? The other way, it's there as well. See? Real-time reflections. And you guys trying to say this looks just like the original Xbox 360 Crackdown 1. Are you on crack? Stop smoking the crack, people!